The Gambino family, a notorious legacy of blackmail, extortion, murder, and illegal gambling. The Gambino family, one of the 5 families that dominate organized crime activities in New York City, has been synonymous with blackmail, extortion, murder, and illegal gambling for decades. From its origins in the early 20th century to its modern-day operations, the Gambino family has carved out a fearsome reputation in the annals of American crime. This comprehensive life story delves into the rise and influence of the Gambino family, exploring its leaders, notorious crimes, and lasting impact on organized crime in the United States. Origins and early history. The roots of the Gambino family trace back to the early 1900s, when Italian immigrants brought with them the traditions and structures of the Sicilian Mafia. The family was originally part of the D'Aquila gang, led by Salvatore Toto D'Aquila, who was a powerful figure in the New York underworld during the 1910s and 1920s. D'Aquila's rise to power was marked by his ruthlessness and strategic alliances, which helped him control much of the criminal activity in the city. After D'Aquila's murder in 1928, the family underwent a period of turmoil and reorganization. It was during this time that Vincent Mangano emerged as the new leader, establishing the foundations of what would eventually become the Gambino family. Mangano's reign, however, was fraught with internal strife and power struggles, setting the stage for further upheaval. The ascendancy of Albert Anastasia. The true consolidation of power came with the rise of Albert Anastasia, one of the most feared and influential mobsters in American history. Known as the Lord High Executioner due to his role in overseeing the Mafia's enforcement arm, Murder, Inc., Anastasia was instrumental in shaping the family's operations and expanding its influence. Anastasia's leadership was marked by his brutal enforcement tactics and his ability to maintain control through fear. Under his rule, the family became heavily involved in illegal gambling, extortion, and labor racketeering. Anastasia's reign, however, was cut short in 1957 when he was assassinated in a barbershop, a killing orchestrated by rival factions within the Mafia. The Gambino era begins. The vacuum left by Anastasia's death was quickly filled by Carlo Gambino, a shrewd and cunning mobster who would lend his name to the family and lead it to unprecedented heights. Gambino's ascent to power marked a new era for the family, characterized by a more sophisticated and businesslike approach to organized crime. Carlo Gambino was born in Palermo, Sicily in 1902 and immigrated to the United States in 1921. His rise through the ranks of the Mafia was facilitated by his keen intelligence and strategic mind. Gambino was known for his ability to forge alliances and maintain a low profile, which allowed him to avoid the pitfalls that had claimed many of his predecessors. Under Gambino's leadership, the family expanded its operations into new territories and diversified its criminal activities. While illegal gambling remained a cornerstone of the family's income, Gambino also ventured into drug trafficking, loan sharking, and infiltration of legitimate businesses. His ability to balance these diverse interests and maintain control over the family's operations earned him the respect and loyalty of his subordinates. The era of Paul Castellano. Following Carlo Gambino's death in 1976, leadership of the family passed to his cousin and brother-in-law, Paul Castellano. Castellano's tenure as boss was marked by significant changes in the family's structure and operations. Unlike his predecessors, Castellano sought to distance himself from the street-level activities of the Mafia, focusing instead on white-collar crime and legitimate business ventures. Castellano's emphasis on business acumen and his desire to transform the family into a more corporate entity earned him the nickname the Howard Hughes of the mob. However, his approach also created friction within the family, particularly among the more traditional and street-oriented factions. The rise of John Gotti. The discontent within the Gambino family came to a head in 1985 when John Gotti, a charismatic and ambitious capo, orchestrated the assassination of Paul Castellano. Gotti's rise to power was marked by his flamboyant personality and his ability to command loyalty from his subordinates. His leadership style was a stark contrast to that of Castellano, as he embraced the traditional values of the mafia and sought to restore the family's reputation for violence and intimidation. John Gotti, known as the Teflon Don for his ability to evade conviction despite numerous legal battles, became a media sensation and the face of the American mafia during the 1980s and early 1990s. Under Gotti's rule, the Gambino family reasserted its dominance in various criminal enterprises, including drug trafficking, extortion, and loan sharking. Gotti's reign, however, was marked by increased law enforcement scrutiny and internal betrayals. In 1992, Gotti was finally convicted on multiple charges, including murder and racketeering, largely due to the testimony of his underboss, Salvatore "Sammy the Bull" Gravano, who turned state's witness. Gotti's conviction dealt a significant blow to the family, but it did not mark the end of its operations. Modern era and continued influence. Despite the setbacks and leadership changes, the Gambino family has remained a formidable force in organized crime. The family has continued to adapt to the changing landscape of law enforcement and criminal activities, diversifying its operations and maintaining a significant presence in the New York underworld. In recent years, the family has faced numerous challenges, including increased law enforcement pressure, internal power struggles, and the rise of rival criminal organizations. However, the Gambino family's ability to endure and evolve has ensured its continued relevance in the world of organized crime. Notable crimes and operations. Throughout its history, the Gambino family has been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, each contributing to its fearsome reputation. Some of the most notable crimes and operations include blackmail and extortion. Blackmail and extortion have long been staples of the Gambino family's operations. From small business owners to powerful politicians, the family has used threats and intimidation to extract money and favors from its victims. One infamous example is the family's infiltration of the New York City construction industry, where they used their influence to secure lucrative contracts and extort money from contractors and labor unions. Murder and violence. The Gambino family's willingness to use violence to maintain control and eliminate rivals has been a defining characteristic of its operations. The family has been linked to numerous high-profile murders, including the assassination of Albert Anastasia and the hit on Paul Castellano. Additionally, the family's enforcement arm, often referred to as the muscle, has been responsible for countless acts of violence and intimidation against those who dared to oppose them. Illegal gambling. Illegal gambling has been a cornerstone of the Gambino family's income for decades. From underground casinos to sports betting operations, the family has profited immensely from this illicit enterprise. The family's control over illegal gambling operations in New York City and beyond has allowed them to generate significant revenue and maintain influence over various sectors of the criminal underworld. Drug trafficking. While not traditionally associated with drug trafficking, the Gambino family has been involved in the distribution of narcotics, particularly during the latter half of the 20th century. The family's involvement in drug trafficking has been both a source of significant profit and a point of contention within its ranks, as some members have resisted engaging in this highly risky and law enforcement-intensive activity. Conclusion. The Gambino family's legacy is one of power, violence, and adaptability. From its early days as part of the D'Aquila gang to its modern operations, the family has been a dominant force in organized crime in the United States. Through strategic leadership, ruthless enforcement, and a willingness to diversify its criminal activities, the Gambino family has managed to endure and thrive in the face of numerous challenges. As law enforcement continues to target organized crime, the future of the Gambino family remains uncertain. However, its storied history and enduring influence serve as a testament to the complex and often dark world of the American Mafia.